Hi, my name's Tim. I work in the Ubuntu Release Management team at Canonical. I'm here to talk about GUI testing using a new open source tool called YARF. What is Ubuntu GUI testing? This is a call to arms, that's why I'm here. This is Ubuntu GUI testing, that's me. This is a new repository where we're storing all of our graphical test suites for various graphical applications that we ship, including, okay, what applications already have tests? Chromium, the security center, the firmware updater, various GNOME apps, the multipass front end, the prompting client, and most importantly, and what I've spent most of my time on, is the desktop installer. I've been doing this for about a year and a half now, and in that time we've automated all of these various desktop installer test cases, which basically covers all of the generic options that you would use in the desktop installer. There's some things that are a little bit harder to automate for various reasons, but I won't bother going into detail right now, but you can see we've covered basically the whole suite that we really care about, including TPM-FDE, which is important for the LTS because that's coming up and it's going to be officially supported instead of being in an experimental stage. So, tool flavors and community members, what can automating your GUI testing do for you? Here's what it did for me. When I joined Canonical a few years ago, this was me testing desktop ISOs on various laptops. For any flavors in the audience, you know what this is like. You sit around 4 or 5 laptops, some of them are running VMs, some of them are running on hardware. It's not fun, right? And we would submit and collate our test results on the ISO tracker, which may also be familiar to some of you and is also now dying. Thank God. And by the end of it, I would look like this, essentially. I would be completely exhausted from basically just clicking through a desktop installer, right? It just took so long. Now this is what my testing looks like. I just press a button. When it comes around to doing a release, this last release, don't tell my manager I did basically nothing. I just pressed this. I just pressed my test button. It was amazing. I had a great time. Thank you everyone else for doing the hard work. So what fun and exciting new framework are we using to do this graphical testing? YARF, which stands for Yet Another Robot Framework. This is YARF, like I said, open sourced in the last cycle. We've been developing it before that. What is it? It's a tool built on top of Robot Framework that allows developers to build graphical test suites to run against various different backends. It's written in Python. It's very simple and straightforward. I've been enjoying it a lot. How does it work? What is the TLDR of its usage? Basically, spawn a VM with a VNC server or spawn a MIR server. These are the 2 currently supported backends. Don't ask for testbed bootstrapping. I'm not having that conversation again. I've had it many times. It's a terrible idea. I'm not going to bother explaining it now. You will make an enemy of me. You then run YARF against your VNC or MIR server, and YARF has this built-in keyword called the template factory, which is where you take templates for your graphical test suite. You write your test by running through your manual steps from the YARF interactive shell. YARF saves the history of an interactive shell, and then you basically take that and you just put it into a graphical test suite. You don't have to do much more than that. It's very quick. What if you don't want to use VNC or MIR? Come and write your own backend. I wrote the VNC backend and I don't know what I'm doing. So it's not difficult. It was about 250 lines of Python for the actual backend. Super straightforward. What if you want to use YARF to test GUI applications on hardware? Just spawn a VNC server or a MIR server on that hardware, point YARF to it, it will run. Straight, very easy. Why do I believe in it so much? Because like I've been emphasizing, it's so easy. Everyone that I've pushed this on, whilst they've been annoyed by me doing so, has found it very nice, and I've had great feedback from everyone in the desktop team. This is a brief example of what some YARF looks like. This is a function that selects LVM and encryption in the desktop installer. You can see we make sure we're on the disk setup page. We then move the pointer to some text that we know is on screen, or we assume is on screen. And then we've also moved the pointer to various PNGs, which, you know, this could actually just be text now. One of the main benefits of YARF is using OCR rather than template matching. This is what a template looks like. Super straightforward. So if you're a flavor or community member, submit your tests to Ubuntu GUI testing. We'll run them on our infrastructure. And this should help coordinate releases with the ISO tracker being dropped as well. Right now, the infrastructure Jenkins, I've got 7 seconds. We're working on a better infrastructure for the future that's kind of like auto package test, but for graphical testing. Thank you.